Hey everyone, it's Lisa the Whimsical Gardener. So on today's video, I want to show you how to propagate and multiply your perennials using a simple water technique. And I want to show you the process from the beginning all the way to the end. And what I'm doing now is planning ahead for next season. And this silver lining Artemisia, after one season it gets super leggy and you'll see just stems with the end of it just being this greenery, and I love this foliage. So what I've been doing for the last few seasons is I'll pre-plant for the following season. So what I'll do is just go ahead and snip the stems and then put them in water, let them root, and then plant out. And I'll grow it during the winter time, and then in the spring I'll plant them out on here. So this one here is kind of overgrowing the pathway, as you can see here. So what my plan is, I do need to start planning for next year. So maybe I'll use these, not maybe, I will use these. So I'm pruning it while I'm also prepping for next year. Would love if you can please subscribe to this channel, like and comment as well. And hopefully this is a good tutorial for you to see how you can multiply your perennials. You don't always have to go and buy them. To refresh them, you can just propagate them for the next year. So what I'm doing is, this is too big for me right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm snipping the edge of it here. And all I'm doing is I'm going to remove the leaves at the bottom here. Let me bring it a little bit closer. And then I'm going to put it in a glass of water like this. That's all that I'm doing. So let me come a little bit closer to the camera and I'll show you guys another example. Here's my glass of water. Here's my silver lining Artemisia. I think that's the name. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Stripping the leaves at the bottom here. Give a little bit more snip. And then here's my water. I'm just placing it in the water. And then at the end of this video, you'll see how it's growing roots. And then I'll show you how I pot them up too as well. Look at this. I can actually see the stuff. I can actually walk through here. I tell you, the family tries not to use this stuff most of the time during the growing season because they can barely walk. So I'm also trying to keep them in mind when I do this project. Alright, so let's go ahead and start snipping these. And what I'm doing is I'm pre-planting because I'm sure I'm going to be giving away some of this as well. I don't need 10 of these plants. Maybe I do because I probably will plant them around the yard, but I'm pre-planning in that I'm doing more than what I think I'll need, because I'm sure I'm going to give some of these away to family and friends. And I'm also doing a plant sale next year, or at least I'm planning for a plant sale. So maybe if these survive, that could also be included in the collection. But I like to do more than what I think that I will need, because some of them may not survive, some of them will. And so I just have an abundance of it, so why not? And usually what I do is I will just put it on my kitchen counter and just let it root. Make sure there's always water in the container. Now, one of the things with the silver lining Artemisia is I like the foliage, but I don't like the smell of it. It's a little bit of a licorice type of smell. So I'm not a big fan of it. Now what I'll do is all of these clippings that I have here, I'm just going to put it at the bottom of the root, and they will just decompose from there. So I think they call it like a chop and drop method type of thing. So I'm just going to do that, and they will just decompose and become nutrients for the plant. So this is what I have. It just makes a good arrangement as well. It looks pretty while you're doing it. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is I've got my sedum, which I realized that I am doing this at the complete wrong time of the year because my sedums are about to flower. So let me bring you in a little bit closer. Alright, so here are my sedum, and I realized that I'm not going to be able to use these for propagation purposes because see all the flowers that it has? This is going to color up and give me a nice pink color in about maybe 2 to 3 weeks or so. So I'm not going to touch this one. However, I do have some sedums under my Japanese maple that are a little bit behind, so I'm going to use that. And it's the Autumn Joy sedum, which I absolutely love. This one here is a variegated sedum. I don't know the name, but I noticed that it's reverting back over to a regular foliage, because it used to be a green and white foliage, but it's reverting back. So let me move the camera to the other one, and then we'll go from there. And again, I'll show you how to root it in water, and then we'll plant them up once they grow some roots. I'm here by my, I don't know what to call this area, but it's right at the bottom of the stone step garden bed. And these, I'm not going to cut these sedums because again, they're ready to flower. However, you notice the small tiny one in the back there? I am going to go ahead and snip those because they're a little bit behind, and that will be perfect for me to propagate. So let me do that. Pardon, this is a very awkward moment to get to these plants, so let's try to maneuver here. I made it. Alright, so let me see if I can get any more plants. I'm actually going to show you 2 methods for this sedum. I'm going to show you how to directly plant them in a pot once you snip them, and I'm also going to show you the water propagation method as well. Both work completely fine. I did notice that there's some extra ones back here. I survived, guys. See, I got some extra ones here, so let me take you back up there and set everything up, and we'll get these either planted in water or pot up in soil. So first thing I want to do is to show you the easy way, which is for a sedum. You strip the bottom of it right there, strip all of that leaves. All right. Oh, I just broke a piece of it. By the way, be careful with sedum, but I'm going to propagate that part of it. It's not going to worry. So I have my container with soil, and what I find with sedum is just literally just stick it in there and put the dirt up against it, the soil up against it, and then that's it. It'll grow. Give it some water and it'll grow. They're pretty easy to grow. That's it. That's all that you do. This is how you can multiply your perennials, guys. And I love sedum. Love sedum. And they don't need a lot of water either. So let's do a couple more. So this one here, again, be very careful when you're taking the leaves off because the stems of the sedum are fairly tender, so they'll break very easily. So if I'm doing this in water, I'll break everything out here. Then I'll take my container of water and I'm just going to stick it in. And that's all that I do. And I just leave it in an area that has light and it'll grow roots. So again, I'm super careful when I'm taking the, oh my god, guys, the sun came out. So I need to change position fairly soon. All the nice weather is gone. Alright, so I do this, and then I take my glass of water and I just stick it in there, and it will grow roots for me. It also makes a beautiful arrangement as well too, just sitting there looking at it. Let's do one more, and then the rest of it I will pot directly in the soil. Sedum, you'll notice when you go to the store, they're anywhere from like $8 to $12. So this is a great way for you to multiply your perennial. So again, I just broke all of the stems off here and take my water, stick it in my water, put it in the area that there is light. I'm going to put it on my kitchen counter where there's windows around it, and then that's it. And I always want to make sure that the stems are touching the water. And these now, what I'm doing is breaking out the leaves at the bottom, and I'm going to pot them directly into the container. Usually when you direct sow this, when you direct plant them, you want to give them a little bit of shade and a little bit of protection while they're trying to grow root. Don't put this in direct sun or something that has afternoon sun, because that's the hottest. So I usually put them in my plant nursery area where they have a little bit of shade. I think I cut the perfect amount because I have enough for each in my container. And I'm experimenting with snipping the top of the sedum. I want to see if that makes it branch out. I think it does. Alright, so these are my sedum in containers. And this is my sedum in water. So I'm going to go put these in my plant nursery area, and I'm going to give it a drink of water as well. And just let them hang out. That's all. So this will grow roots in about maybe 2 weeks or so. This will grow root in about 2 weeks or so as well. So you could do either method, depending upon what you have time. Sometimes like I'll do this like in the winter time, right before things die, so that they can grow on in the house, and then transplant afterwards. And then this I'll do if I have time during the season, like the growing season. It's much easier to sow it directly in soil. Alright, so I have my little plant nursery area here. So I'm trying to organize all of my plantings that I have. So I kind of group like plants together. So I'm going to put this one in my sedum area. Again, sedum don't need a lot of water. So I'll just give the rest of my seedlings some water as I'm here. Alright, so what else do I want to do? I think what I want to do is I'll show you what I do, where I store them, and then this video will continue after they grow some root, and we can actually pot them up from there. So I'm inside my house. Hopefully you can see this better, and I just basically place them on the island, which there's windows around it, so any area that has windows will be good. So we'll come back and check on these in about a week or two and see if they're growing roots. It's been I would say probably a good 3 weeks or so since I filmed the original video where I cut the stems of the sedum and the Artemisia. So I want to show you how I am with everything. So you can see the sedums have roots on them. Some of them are like serious roots. Look at that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I pot them up. And then the Artemisia, full disclosure, the first that didn't take, and this is what I realized that I want you to keep in mind, is when you're cutting the stem, don't do the stems that are very new. You need ones that are a little bit hard. And by that, what I mean is, let me show you a couple. So you can see I've got roots on here. So what I noticed is the ones that actually got some roots are the ones that are a little bit older. See, so this is not a new stem. This one here has a little bit of age on it. If you cut anything that is too new, it's not going to root. Here's another example. It's not going to root because the stems are too soft. You need a little bit of like firmness with it. So that's a lesson that I learned that you need to keep in mind. So don't go too soft on it, so not too much new growth where it's like really. So for example, like this is a new growth right here. See how this is a new growth? I had cut there. That was not enough. That was too soft, and it ended up rotting in the water, and you don't want that to happen. So lesson learned is to make sure the stem has some firmness to it. So I went back and I cut some new stems, and that's what you see the roots on. So I'm going to go ahead and pot these up. And the ones that did not have roots so far, I'm going to still keep them in the water because I think that they will get roots. So I'm still hopeful. But I was able to get, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plants that basically rooted for me. So let me show you how I'm going to pot them up, and hopefully you learn like how to get some new plants from things you already have in your yard. So let me shift the camera around a little bit and we'll go ahead and get started. Just put some gloves on because you know, I got my nails done and I don't want to damage my nails, so let's go ahead and do that. I still have a full-time day job where I have to look, you know, super professional, so I'm like, I don't want to have messed up nails, so gloves it is. So I'm using some regular potting soil here, so I'm going to go ahead and fill it up with some soil. And normally I would use some biotone, but I don't have biotone, so I'm using some regular garden tone. So I'm putting a little bit of fertilizer in there, and what I'm doing is I'm taking the dirt, creating a hole right there, and then I'm going to take my plant and I'm going to bury it up to the point where I see roots on there. So that's all that I'm doing. And what I'm going to do is once I do this, I'm going to put them in a cool place. So my little plants nursery area that I have is more than good enough for that. And what's going to happen is it's going to have a little bit of sunlight, but not sharp sunlight. And the weather is starting to cool off now, so they should be doing pretty good. So here's my other one. I'm going to go ahead and bury it up to here because here's my root. And at the same time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch the top of my Artemisia because I want the plant to bush out whenever it does. What do you call it? Whenever it does start to grow, I want it to bush out so it not be one single stem, but pretty thick. And what will happen with this is, so I'm filming this around September 17th. So this is going to go and grow roots. I have more than enough time before my first frost comes. This usually survives the frost, but what I'm going to do this year is all of my plants that I planted this year, I'm going to actually put them in the greenhouse, not the heated side of the greenhouse, the other side. So they'll have a little bit of warmth, but still the cold period that they need. So that's what I'm going to do this year. My sedum will go dormant in the winter time. Oh, this have such beautiful leaves, roots, I mean, guys, that's all roots. I'm going to pinch this one too as well on top. Hopefully this is helpful to you guys in seeing how you can get free plants from your yard. I'm pinching the top of this because I want it to branch out again. Beautiful roots. Can you see? This one is really long. All right, there you go. I have 3 sedums and 6 Artemisia. So not bad for that whole propagation. I'm going to go ahead and use the water and just water them in. Alright, good. So hopefully this was informative, guys. If you would like to see me experiment with propagating anything else, leave them in the comment section. This is one of my favorite part of gardening, is just experimenting and see what actually works. So not bad. These are Autumn Joy sedums over there. Silverline Artemisia is, I think, that variety over there. But not bad. I'll give you guys updates as time goes along. If they survive, that's good. If not, didn't really lose anything, because I didn't buy these. I just basically propagated them. Would love if you can like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share with a gardening friend as well. Until next time, happy gardening, everyone.